Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode. I'm really excited for your thoughts on today's episode. It's a bit controversial, but I'm flipping the script on negative thoughts and explaining why they're really powerful and really useful tools, even if it doesn't feel that way. So let me know what you think. You may hear some toddler noise in the background or crying towards the end of the episode. And look, I'm a mom. This is my real life. I don't have a studio. I sneak away when I can and try to record these episodes for you. So just bear with me. I hope that you can still kind of focus on and getting the juice out of this episode. And I'm really excited to announce some new stuff that's coming to the podcast in a few months, let's say. So definitely stay tuned for new. And if you like today's episode, I would love if you would rate me on Spotify. It helps me. Any kind of feedback really helps me to know that this podcast is serving you and that the work that I'm doing is serving you and what you would like to see more of, hear more of. So definitely feel free to give me all the constructive criticism. And yeah, let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome to the Mighty Emotions podcast, where we talk openly about our emotions so that we can have the capacity to receive more of what life has to offer. I'm your host, Giselle. I'm an emotional resilience coach, and my mission is to empower you and equip you with the tools to take control of your life by learning to master your emotions. If you're ready to eliminate negative patterns of avoiding and numbing, so you can have inner peace, increase self-esteem, improve your relationships with others, and get more out of life, then keep listening. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mighty Emotions podcast. I'm so excited to dive into this topic today and going to be really curious to get your feedback on it. And I definitely want to know if you agree or disagree, because I would say it's controversial what I'm going to say, but it's my experience, it's my learnings. And as always, we're all entitled to our opinions on things. But I encourage you to explore whatever shows up as you listen to this podcast and explore what kind of thoughts pop up, how you feel. That's what all of this work that I do is about. It's about emotional resilience, which is essentially just embracing it all, like embracing our feelings and not demonizing any of our feelings. That is my biggest thing, like not on my watch, okay? All of our feelings are allowed. And they're allowed because they serve us in such a high way. And likewise, our thoughts serve us as well in many ways. And today I want to talk about the power of negative thinking. Now you're going to say, what, Giselle? That's crazy. But similar to me saying that there is no inappropriate emotion, that I don't believe in negative emotions, I perceive negative thoughts as a cue. Everything that comes from within us comes from our unconscious, subconscious, unawareness into our conscious awareness for a reason. And that reason is to serve us in some way, serve us in our growth, serve us as a compass, serve us by, giving us that higher wisdom nudge that allows us to make good decisions and to experience life in a beautiful way, which we're all seeking, right? And which we're all deserving and worthy of. And negative thoughts are a part of that system, a part of that internal higher wisdom. And so what do I mean by this? First of all, I don't like negative thoughts. I don't think that they're great. They don't feel good. They're uncomfortable. And I see a lot of the messaging is how to stop having negative thoughts or what to do to push away your negative thoughts. And to me, this is in the same vein as pushing away your emotions. To me, this is in the same vein as invalidating them. Because when we do that, when we invalidate what we're feeling, what we're thinking, we discount it, we push it aside, we judge it, it doesn't make it go away. It doesn't make it go away because it's there to do its job. It's there to bring our attention to what's going on. Just bring our awareness to what's in our subconscious, which is ultimately what is dictating most of our behaviors. As we know, our actions are driven by our subconscious mind, right? Our subconscious mind, where we store all of our beliefs and our long held stories and interpretations and understandings of the world, so that we're able to live on kind of this autopilot state where we're not using our brain energy all the time. That subconscious serves that purpose, right? It's so that we have these, for lack of a better term, biases that allow us to just live and move through our life. And sometimes the stuff we pick up along the way stops serving us and needs to be released, needs to be retired, needs to be replaced with new things that are aligned with where we presently are in our lives. So how does this relate to the power of negative thoughts? Well, thoughts are just transient, like our emotions. They're meant to kind of come and pass and go, right? They're built upon this, like the information that's in our subconscious, which is what we absorb from the external world, all the input that we're taking in consciously and unconsciously, right? And our brains are such intelligent, our minds are such powerful things. So when we're having negative thoughts, to me, and in my experience, it is a cue that there's something in our subconscious that we're not addressing. Everything is our emotions, our negative thoughts. They're popping up to bring our awareness and our attention to where we need a need met, or where we need to release an old belief or an illusion that we're holding on to. So while it's not pleasant to experience these challenging emotions, it's to have these negative thoughts. And we're always looking to dissect them and fix them and make them go away so that we're not having them. When what I've found is that if we can radically accept that there's a negative thought and ask ourselves, what emotion is connected to this thought? Is it fear? Is it sadness? Right? Is it shame? It's the emotion that's trying to get our attention through our negative thought. Our higher intelligence, inner wisdom, intuition, whatever you want to call it, is so, so intelligent that whether it's through these negative thoughts or through behaviors that we're not proud of, let's say, all of these things are cues. All of these things are trying to make us aware of what it is in our subconscious that needs our attention, needs our revision. So when you're having negative thoughts, the way to get sucked into them is to judge them, is to try to avoid them, try to run from them, just like it is with our emotions. It only makes them more powerful. It only makes them come back stronger, even if you can do something to temporarily relieve yourself of it. And we can temporarily relieve ourselves of any kind of pain, even physical pain. There's painkillers, right? So we can have emotional painkillers. We can have mental painkillers that suppresses that thought or suppresses the emotion for a period of time, only for it to come back again, sometimes even stronger. And so I don't encourage you to get rid of your negative thoughts. They are good. It's good if you have a negative thought and you become aware of it, because that negative thought is leading you to an emotion, which is leading you to something within your subconscious that needs your attention. Where are the needs that aren't being met in your life? Maybe in your relationships, right? What is that negative thought about specifically? And it makes us uncomfortable, so we don't want to look at it. It makes us uncomfortable to have a thought, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm stupid, or I'm not going to get that, or whatever the negative thought is. It makes us uncomfortable, and we don't like to face that discomfort. But that is what makes us resilient. Facing our discomfort, sitting with it, acknowledging it, and learning to accept that it's there is what makes us resilient. And when we can do that, when we can just accept it, like, okay, I'm having this negative thought right now about myself. It's bringing up kind of feelings of shame for me. So what is this story about my identity that doesn't match my reality anymore? Right? And it's this kind of working backwards. So that thought was just a clue, a messenger, a hey, got your attention. Now that I have your attention, right? What do we need to get rid of that's stored in our subconscious somehow or somewhere? And that is when our negative thoughts become tools, just like our challenging emotions become tools. Our discomfort becomes a tool, because if we're brave enough to face it, to sit with it, not to dissect it, not to fix it, not to make it go away, not to run from it, right? If we're brave enough to acknowledge it, you don't need to like it, but acknowledge that it's there and realize that it wouldn't be there for no reason. We are so intricately designed as human beings. Everything in this world. If you study nature, there's so much that we don't know still, both about ourselves and about nature. But if you study the way nature is intricately designed and everything works in an ecosystem harmoniously, it's amazing. It's fascinating to see how it all makes sense. And so our negative emotions make sense if you realize that they're there to flag for us, to just trigger that discomfort that gets our attention, that gets us to see exactly, specifically what's going on within us, and to have that introspective moment. And so our negative emotions can bring us to a place of introspection and self-awareness and growth and evolution. So rather than looking at them and demonizing them, I encourage you, as uncomfortable as it is, to just acknowledge that discomfort, acknowledge that I don't want to be feeling like this right now. I don't want to be having this thought right now, and noticing that, and then doing the things that help you honor it in your body, to help you honor that physical discomfort, because those negative thoughts are attached to feelings in our bodies. Tenseness, tightness, fear, stress, gut pain, whatever it might be. They're all interconnected. And so it's a little bit like, following the breadcrumbs. Follow the breadcrumbs. When you get that breadcrumb of the negative thought, you follow that to the emotion. And when you pinpoint the emotion, you follow that to your subconscious. We have such wisdom within us that along the way we learn to stop trusting. And my mission is to empower you to trust your inner wisdom. You are inherently wise. You have a higher intelligence, and it might not, come to you in roses and rainbows all the time. Most of the time, a lot of the time, it comes to us through these negative thoughts, through this discomfort, just trying to trigger our awareness and get our attention. Because like I said, we move through life mostly on autopilot. We don't have the time or the capacity, I'll say, to stop and analyze every single thing. So when we're having negative thoughts, when we're having negative emotions, there's something key there for us to analyze. There's something specific there for us to look at. And when we can do that, when we learn to do that, when I've done that, when my clients do that, it changes the trajectory of our life. It transforms us. Right? We are literally transformed and we evolve, and it's beautiful. Even if it doesn't seem that way, if it doesn't feel that way, it really is beautiful in the end. So I encourage you to just sit with that. Just think about that. The next time you have a negative thought, inquire a bit rather than trying to push it away. Know that it's just trying to get your attention, and do a little bit of digging and see what shows up for you. And if it's really tough, don't push yourself. Just be gentle. Be gentle with yourself. But reframing how you see those negative thoughts can really, really guide you gently towards becoming more emotionally resilient and being able to face whatever life has in store for you, because it's ultimately, it's for your highest good, right? So I hope that something that I shared today resonated with you. If it did, let me know. I'm on Instagram at mighty_emotions. I'd love to talk to you and hear your thoughts. I want to know what you think about this different perspective on negative thoughts. If anything kind of landed, if anything kind of rubbed you the wrong way, what came up? That's all that this is about. What is coming to the surface to be released, right? And I encourage you to always, always be gentle with yourself. And if you feel like you want to do this work and you need guidance, you need someone to really personally help you just shine a light on the areas that are maybe shadowy to you, maybe foggy to you. That is what I do in my Getting Back to You program. That is what we work on. It's really tailored to you and what you're going through and how you relate to each specific core emotion. And we look at it, we analyze it together, and together we work to change and shift your relationship to the emotion, to understand it better, to have that, that knowing that it's really for your highest and greatest good, all of it. And it just takes kind of a nudge sometimes. Sometimes we have blind spots and we need someone else who can come in and say, maybe look at it this way, hold up a mirror for us, right? So if you want to you're ready to do that work, you're ready to do this work, and you want to be held in a safe container, and you want someone to come in and journey through this with you, then I encourage you to click the link in the show notes, check out my about page on my Getting Back to You program. All the details are there. And if you feel like, yes, I'm ready to do this work, then let's get on a clarity call. Let's talk about, whether or not we're a good fit, we're aligned, we're a good match. And I hope that we can go on this journey together, because at the end of it, you really are transformed. You're not just signing up to learn about your emotions. You're signing up to transform the trajectory of your life, literally. And it's what I'm most passionate about and what I have gone through myself. So I stand behind everything I share, including this podcast episode. I stand behind it because I know I've seen it work in my own life. I'm coming from lived experience. So with that, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. More episodes are on the way. And if there's anything you want me to talk about specifically, self-sabotage, I need to do an episode on that. But anything really that you want me to kind of extrapolate on and connect to how it relates to our emotions, then I would love for you to just send me a DM on Instagram or leave a comment on my post and say, hey, I'm interested in this topic, and I'd be happy to do a future podcast episode on that. So with that, I love you for listening, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye.